the moment is, if I look at my project developing clients, so the first question is, or the first step in developing a project is to go and identify the resource. And the resource, what I mean by resource, is identify where the sun is shining or the wind is blowing for solar and wind technology in this case. Once they've identified the sites, you have to negotiate for land leases and negotiate with the people actually owning that land to be able to build the infrastructure there. So that's step one. But your question then is to say, but what is the next question as to, fair enough, we develop the project, it's financially feasible, and we get the funding, what now? The biggest struggle at the moment that the market is experiencing is grid capacity, which means that even though we can build a massive wind farm, for instance, in the Eastern Cape, because of the wind resource availability, it doesn't mean that we can transfer that electricity into the grid. The grid sounds like a cool name, and some people don't quite understand exactly what it is, but I'll try and simplify it, and excuse my engineering colleagues might excuse my layman's terms in how I explain it, but ultimately it's large wires laid across the country whereby electricity is distributed. And for the guys that had science at school would know that when you pass electricity through cables, obviously there's line losses happening, number one, but also there's certain loads that's running through them, which means you can't push a high load through a smaller cable. It will basically blow the cable. And that's the challenge that we've got in South Africa, is that the infrastructure, that cabling, can't necessarily take the load of building these massive plants at the current positions where those resources are available. There are definitely grid availability, for instance, up in the north where the coal mines are being decommissioned or running at low capacity. The trouble there is that in those areas, the wind resource or the solar resources aren't that good as in other areas of the country, which means that we need to expand the grid in South Africa to those places where the renewable energy resources, wind, solar, for instance, are available. And that's quite a big exercise at this point in time, if you think about the cost and the man labor and the time that would take to expand it. So it's not only the lines that need to be updated, but additional substations needs to be built. So a lot of the clients that I deal with also actually cater, and when they engage with Eskom or the Department of Energy, is to say that, you know what, we will also build a substation. We'll factor that into our project, build a new substation, we just need connection to the line. Some guys might even pay for the upgrades of the line from that substation to a main or a bigger substation. So the private sector are really talking to government and see how they can assist in the solution. But I do think there are a bit of bureaucracy at play still. So these things take longer than we would think it should.